In today's whiteboarding session, we're going to be talking about this word in the AI revolution, the tsunami that's coming down. We're going to want something that's authentic. We're looking around, we're seeing, is that a real video? Is that a real photo? Did that person really do that? Oh my gosh, I got totally duped. And this is the worst it's ever going to be. That's why authentic is going to be the future. You as a personality, you as different, you as not being perfect. That's what we're going to be talking about. We've grown up for the last 15, 20 years that when we turn on a button and it is a computer, it turns on. We press this button, it turns on. When I go to my cell phone, I now have all these apps throughout my entire cell phone. If I press that button, I know 100% of the time it's going to load. If I press Instagram, I know it's going to load. If I put in something into Google, I know I'm going to get an answer. We have been operating on a 100 perfection. That's why people weirdly are saying, actually, we don't like perfect anymore. We like you to be vulnerable. We like you to be imperfect. That is the future. Imperfect is authentic. When you see somebody too polished, they're just always beautiful. They're always on trips. They're always doing some things that are just incredible. Yeah, maybe you can view them in awe, but that's just a highlight reel. We've all heard about that. That was social media where the person is just always polished. They're always on. They're always funny. They're always beautiful. They're always in shape. They're always doing excursions and traveling around the world. But this is going to be what people are going to want to get to. What's the real journey? What's the real journey of you starting a business? What's the real journey of you being a content creator? I recently saw a video where someone was filming a content creator and they were clearly doing an ad. I think it was on the food or something. And they were just like, this is all you saw. They're acting. I understand you have to turn it on when the video's on, but then the video goes off and the person went like this. That's real. That should be filmed. Hey, listen, I was just on and everything else. And obviously you have to entertain and make sure that you're making the money by being authentic and not being 100% perfect. And you got to be vulnerable and imperfect. This is probably going to be about 60-40. We want to maybe even 70-30. We want you to give us some inspiration. You got to inspire us with whatever you're doing, with your art, with your creator ability. Okay. We're all going to be creators. Lower C. We're all going to be creators, but we're going to want to be inspired by your content. It's going to be about 70-30, but you're also going to want to tell us when things go bad, when you don't feel good, you're just unwell, or maybe you're just tired, or you had a bad day, or you screwed something up, or you just were not perfect. This is going to be a hard line and kind of like a ratio. It's going to be a ratio, whether it's 70-30 or it's 70/30. For every 7 pieces of content, you mix in 3 that are like, hey, listen, I just had a foible, or I just did something that's silly. I can't believe this. Or I just found out, which was me, that pickles are made from cucumbers. I had no idea. 5 years ago, I'm at my brother's and he told me that. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Everyone laughed at my expense. And that's the thing is, when you are authentic, you're actually confident. You're actually confident because you're okay with being the center of an imperfection because you're failing forward. Everyone always talks about that. Failure is part of the creator or life. And what I've noticed is that when I'm vulnerable and imperfect is when I have my biggest breakthroughs. When I'm brainstorming, when I'm doing whiteboard sessions, when I'm doing these videos, when I'm going from a self-development guy into a faith guy, into a vibe coder, you literally have 3 completely different directions on YouTube. First was that, second was faith, next it was vibe coder. What am I going to do next? Well, I might combine all of them into one. And then people are just following Charles instead of just content. They're following Charles. And the reason I'm saying this now is because I've been at so many parties where there's young people. And unfortunately, there is no personality in a lot of these young people because they just sit online and all they do is just trends. They just do trends. What's cool? Because you don't want to be uncool. That's being uncool is not cool. Being uncool is not cool. Well, I actually saying uncool is the new cool. Being someone who is authentic, who's showing their vulnerability and their imperfections and that they mess up, that they are human. Because when you actually put yourself out there as a creator, When you're not in the stands, when you're in the arena, you have all these people all around you. I know it looks like a donut, but pretend like this is a field. Actually, let's do this. Let's do a square. Pretend like this is it. And here's the field. And these are all the stands. All the people are in the stands. And then you got you got the players on the field. This is probably about 5% today. And this is about 95%. Unfortunately, because of AI, this number is going to explode. And people are not ready to be on the field. People are not ready to be on the field, unfortunately. They are just not confident enough because they don't know, and they are in a state of uncertainty, a big state of uncertainty, and they don't know how to become a player. They don't know how to become a creator. They don't know how to inspire. But AI is going to push them against their will. That's why they're fighting it against their will to show vulnerability. Where you literally do this is every brainstorming session. You have to be humble. You have to sit in silence, and you got to say, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know." These are all three things. Brainstorming session. When I go into brainstorming, I go, "I don't know what the answer is." I have to clearly identify the problem. And then I go into silence and humble. And that's the exact same thing that's going to be coming through this tsunami, this AI tsunami. Is going to force people to be authentic again, because they're going to search it out. I see everyone on their cell phones here in New York City. Everyone is on their cell phones. Everyone's just scrolling. Everyone's scrolling. No personalities are being had or built. Everyone's just doing the trends. They're doing the online trends just continuously. So who's going to win? Who's going to win? The people who show that they're human. The people that show that they're vulnerable. And I don't mean like soft and sensitive, but I mean, I actually don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I'm a vibe coder. I don't know about that. I've never heard of that. Now that I've vibe coded and I've gone live 42 days, not in a row, but 42 days live vibe coding, being vulnerable, showing my build live, being built. I need to show that I'm human. I am hopefully inspirational for some people, and hopefully showing that I do bad things. And I have had one bad breakdown now that I am being authentic. It was a complete meltdown. It is still up day 26, I think, the last 20 minutes. I was very unwell during that breakdown, but during this time, the last 42 days, the biggest thing that I've noticed is you have to be yourself. And I understand that that is so overused and everyone has talked about it. But the reason I'm saying this is because there is something about you that is very uncool that people will relate to, because it's unique and they don't understand that they're also unique. And they thought they were uncool. But actually, the uncool is cool by being yourself. What is that one weird quirk? There's nothing anyone is ever going to look at someone and say, 100% of that person I love. That is impossible. That is called perfect. That is called a computer. I used to say it here in real estate. I said, if you find a home that is 70 as good as what you want, what are your three standards? What are you looking for in a home? Okay, I want a view, I want light, and I want a open kitchen. All right, perfect. Those are your three traits of the home. If you walk in and you get those three traits, there's going to be something that are also probably one trait that you really don't like. You really don't like. Maybe it's one block south of where you want to be. Or maybe the bedroom is small. Or maybe you wish there's more closets. But you got your three traits. And that's the same thing with lowercase c creators. There's going to be creators. No one's going to be 100%. I have a lot of quirks that people don't like. There's a lot of things that people are not. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That 3 out of 1 ratio, or in this case, 7 out of 70-30, which is very close, obviously 3-3 and then 30%. This ratio is everywhere. Unfortunately, we're going to get to the point where 30% are going to be forced to become, because of AI, they're going to be forced to become confident and understand that life will include failures. Nobody's perfect. Because when you turn on a Mac, when you press an app, you know it opens. Humans are not that way. We're not, unless we are being forced against our will, unless we're being someone who is online and just looking for trendy topics because you think that's cool. That's not. The future of being cool is uncool, which is authentic. This is what this is the videos they're going to want, the content they're going to want, the shows they're going to want, the movies they're going to want, all of it. Of course, you're going to want to have people, say 40% will go for the shows that are completely scripted. that are not authentic, that they think is cool because most other people think it's cool. They think it's cool. They think everyone else is watching this. No, you're just watching this and it's scripted and it's actually not cool. But you like it and you're distracted and you're entertained. So be it. So be it. But there's going to be a growing portion as we understand that humans are not computers. As AI, as robotics, as automation come into play more and more of our life, we are going to be desiring this. And we're going to want more humans in a lot of areas. There's already a pushback. It's going to get worse as jobs are lost, as robots enter, as automation enters. But when it comes to creators and authenticity and content, we are all going to have to and be forced to inspire, but we'll have to do it authentically. So if you like my whiteboard sessions, please stick around, subscribe to the videos. Obviously, go to the links down below. iCharles.com is the website and the community. We have a lot of news that goes live around this. And I am going 17 years away from a completely normal domain of real estate as a broker owner going into a vibe coder. It's very different. I have no idea what to expect, but this is the way that I'm operating. 30% of the way, I might be doing stupid things. I might be unwell, but 70% is the aim, if not pushing it to 75%, because higher standards is what's needed. Elite standards. Why? By the way, I'll end it on this. I just did a video on standards. Humans are resisting it because AI has high standards. It has high standards in the way it thinks, reasoning, logic, very high standards. And what I noticed is that we need collectively as a society to raise our standards, the way we dress, the way we act, our decorum, what we put on our bodies when it comes to clothing, what we put in our bodies when it comes to food and drink. That's what we need. We need to raise our standards. We need to be inspirational to others. We need to create beauty through authenticity. So instead of looking at AI as beauty, we look at human development through authenticity like we always have throughout the ages. Just go to Europe, look at the cathedrals, look at the music, look at the murals, look at the paintings, the art, everything about sculptures were just beautiful. We can't create beauty with AI that is 100% perfect if humans are not involved, obviously. But what if we create beauty through human? This is the first time seeing the video, subscribe. You're going to do a lot more whiteboards. I'm going to be doing little smaller videos, maybe 15 minutes, maybe longer, 35, 40 minutes. Then we're going to do also brainstorming sessions as I go from a 17-year real estate broker veteran into vibe coding, into AI, into tech, into content creation. It's going to be a crazy wild ride. I want you guys on board for that. I'll talk to you guys soon.